Daniel never slept after returning from Hollow Creek Manor. The brass key rested on the desk beside the black notebook from apartment 406. For nearly an hour he stared at both objects without touching either of them. Every answer he uncovered only revealed another mystery. Ashcroft Estate. Subject 217, the hidden archive, the abandoned manor. They were all connected, but he still didn't know why. At exactly 3:17 a.m., his laptop powered on without warning. The room filled with the pale glow of the screen. White text slowly appeared against the darkness. Observer log updated. Daniel didn't move. He already knew better than to interrupt whatever was happening. A second line appeared. Next location confirmed, coordinates followed. Nothing else. No sender, no explanation, only a precise location. Daniel immediately copied the numbers before the screen shut itself off. When he entered the coordinates into a map the following morning, he frowned. The destination lay almost 100 kilometers north of Hollow Creek Manor, deep inside protected forest. No nearby roads, no villages, no buildings. According to every modern satellite image, there was nothing there. Daniel searched old military records instead. Most archives contained nothing useful, until one forgotten document appeared inside a digitized collection from 1974. Half of the page had been burned away. The remaining text barely survived. Across the top, someone had typed, Facility 9. Everything below had been deliberately blacked out. Only one sentence escaped the censor. Project suspended after Phase 2. Daniel searched for Facility 9 everywhere. Military databases, government archives, historical societies, construction permits. Nothing. Facility 9 officially had never existed, yet the observer log knew exactly where it was. By noon, Daniel packed his equipment: flashlight, camera, spare batteries, food, the 2 brass keys, the black notebook, the journal from Hollow Creek Manor. Before leaving his apartment, he opened the journal one final time. Another sentence had appeared overnight. Fresh ink, fresh handwriting. If you are reading this, I have already become part of the house. He turned the page. Another sentence slowly revealed itself. Some doors were built to keep people out. He closed the journal, this time. He didn't argue with himself. He was going. 4 hours later, the paved road ended. His car could go no farther. The forest beyond looked untouched. Towering pine trees blocked most of the sunlight. Cold mist drifted between the trunks despite the warm afternoon. Daniel followed the GPS through thick undergrowth. The silence felt unnatural. No birds, no insects, not even wind, only his own footsteps. Nearly 2 hours passed. Then he noticed something impossible. A perfectly straight line of concrete blocks disappeared beneath moss. Nature rarely built straight lines. Daniel cleared away years of dirt with his hands. Rust-covered steel emerged beneath the vegetation, a ventilation shaft. He walked farther. Another one, then another, each positioned exactly the same distance apart. Something enormous had been hidden beneath the mountain. Daniel followed the line until it ended at a rocky cliff. There was nothing visible, only solid stone. He checked the coordinates again. This was the place. The GPS remained perfectly still. He searched the cliff carefully, almost ready to give up. A small flash of reflected sunlight caught his attention, hidden beneath vines. Metal. He pulled the vegetation aside. A massive steel door appeared. It blended perfectly into the surrounding rock. No windows, no handle, only one heavy keyhole. Above it, faded white letters remained visible. Facility 9. Below them, another warning had survived the decades. Authorized personnel only. Daniel removed both brass keys. The larger key from Hollow Creek Manor refused to enter the lock. The smaller key, the one recovered beneath apartment 406, slid inside effortlessly. For several seconds, nothing happened. Then, a deep metallic click echoed somewhere far below the mountain. Dust rained from the rocks overhead. Ancient machinery awakened beneath Daniel's feet. The ground vibrated. Very slowly, the enormous steel door began moving inward. Cold air rushed from the darkness beyond. Not natural cold, mechanical cold, conditioned air, as though someone still maintained the place. Daniel raised his flashlight. Concrete stairs disappeared into darkness. Then he noticed something else. Fresh footprints. Someone had entered the bunker recently. Very recently. Daniel tightened his grip on the flashlight. Without taking another breath, he stepped inside. Behind him, the steel door closed on its own, silently. The steel door sealed shut behind Daniel with a deep metallic thud. The sound echoed through the underground corridor for several seconds, before complete silence returned. He turned immediately. There was no handle on the inside, only smooth steel. No way back. Daniel took a slow breath and switched on his flashlight. The narrow concrete staircase descended much farther than he expected. Each step carried decades of dust. Except the footprints. They continued downward, perfectly clear, perfectly fresh. Someone had walked here only hours earlier. Daniel followed them. The deeper he descended, the colder the air became. Condensation covered the concrete walls. Rust streaked across old electrical panels. Thick cables disappeared into darkness overhead. After nearly 5 minutes of walking, the staircase finally ended. A massive blast door stood open. Above it, faded black letters remained visible. Level 1 inside. An endless hallway stretched into darkness. Rows of identical metal doors lined both sides. Every door carried only a number. 102, 103. No names, no descriptions, only numbers. Daniel opened the first room. It was completely empty. Only an old hospital bed remained. The mattress had long turned yellow. Leather straps still hung from both sides. He quickly stepped back into the hallway. Room 102 looked almost identical. Massive blast door, faded black letters, level 1. Endless hallway, identical metal doors, only numbers. Daniel opened first room, completely empty. Room 102 looked almost identical, except this one contained hundreds of handwritten pages scattered across the floor. Every page repeated the same sentence. Memory restored. Again and again, thousands of times. Daniel refused to touch them. He continued walking. The hallway never seemed to end. Every few meters, another blast door appeared. Level 2, then Level 3. The bunker was enormous, much larger than anything military archives had ever described. Suddenly, a faint humming sound reached his ears. Electricity. Somewhere ahead. Daniel followed the noise carefully. The corridor opened into an enormous operations room. Rows of dusty control panels filled the chamber. Most had stopped working decades ago. But not all. 3 monitors still glowed softly. Old green letters slowly scrolled across the screens. One display immediately caught Daniel's attention. It listed hundreds of names. Each name carried a status. Active. Lost returned. He searched the endless list without thinking. He typed his own name. Only one result appeared. Daniel Reynolds. Status. Active location. Facility 9. Daniel froze. The computer already knew where he was. Another line suddenly appeared beneath it. Observation confirmed. The monitor flickered, then changed. Security camera footage replaced the database. Daniel looked at the screen. The camera showed the very room where he stood, from the ceiling. He slowly looked upward. There, hidden between 2 ventilation ducts. A small camera quietly watched him. The red recording light blinked once. Daniel stepped backward. Another monitor activated, then another, one by one. Every screen inside the operations room came alive. Dozens, hundreds. Every monitor displayed different locations. Apartment 406, Storage Unit 217, Ashcroft House, the Underground Archive. Every place he had already visited. Each camera showed empty rooms, until one monitor changed. It displayed the corridor behind Daniel. Someone now stood there, far away, completely motionless. Daniel spun around instantly. The hallway remained empty. He looked back toward the monitor. The figure still stood there, watching him. Its face remained hidden beneath darkness. Another monitor activated. This one showed the same corridor, only closer. The figure had moved several meters forward. Daniel slowly whispered, "No." Another screen activated, closer again. Every monitor now showed the same hallway, the same figure. Each camera positioned farther down the corridor, as though something was walking steadily toward him. The room temperature dropped sharply. His breath became visible. The humming sound stopped. Complete silence filled Facility 9. Then, every monitor switched off simultaneously. Darkness. Only one screen remained active. White letters slowly appeared. Proceed to level 4 beneath them. An arrow pointed toward another blast door it had already opened, waiting. Daniel stood motionless before the open blast door. Beyond it, darkness swallowed the beam of his flashlight. Above the entrance, faded white letters barely remained. Level 4. The paint had almost disappeared. Someone had tried to erase it. Daniel stepped through. The air changed immediately. It no longer smelled like damp concrete. Instead, a faint metallic scent filled the corridor, like old machinery that had never truly stopped working. The hallway narrowed until it ended at a circular steel chamber. Inside, hundreds of filing cabinets stretched in every direction, floor to ceiling. Each drawer carried nothing more than a number. No names, no labels, only numbers. Daniel slowly opened the nearest drawer. Inside rested a single photograph, a little girl standing outside a school. On the back, one word: returned. He opened another, a businessman, another photograph. Returned, another drawer. A family of 4 smiling in front of their home. Again, returned. Daniel moved faster between the cabinets. Thousands of photographs, thousands of different people, every single one marked exactly the same way. Returned. His flashlight suddenly illuminated something different. One cabinet stood completely alone in the center of the room. Unlike the others, it carried no number, only a brass plate. Subjects. Daniel reached for the handle. The drawer slid open effortlessly. Inside lay thick black folders. The first folder read, Subject RCO 1, the next Subject RCO 14, then Subject R089. The numbers continued endlessly. Daniel's hands trembled. He searched further. Eventually, he found it, Subject 2117. The same number, the same file. The same code that had followed him since Storage Unit 217. He slowly opened the folder. The first page contained a photograph. Not of him, of his father. Young, standing inside Hollow Creek Manor. Below the image, a typed sentence. Subject 217 inherited observation duties. Daniel turned the page. Another photograph. His father again, older now. Standing beside the hidden archive beneath apartment 406. The next page showed the underground surveillance room. The next, Ashcroft Manor. Then, Facility 9. Every location, every place, connected. Daniel reached the final page. Blank, except for today's date. As he watched, words slowly appeared across the empty paper. Fresh black ink. Transfer complete. Daniel whispered, "No." Another sentence appeared. Subject 217 confirmed. His breathing became uneven. This isn't possible. Then, the lights inside the chamber turned on. Every fluorescent tube flickered to life at once. Daniel shielded his eyes. When his vision returned, he was no longer alone. Dozens of people stood silently between the filing cabinets. Men, women, children. None of them moved. None of them spoke. Every face remained expressionless. Every pair of eyes stared directly at Daniel. The little girl from the photograph, the businessman, the smiling family, all of them, standing perfectly still, watching. Daniel stepped backward. No one followed. No one blinked. One elderly woman slowly raised her hand. She pointed toward the far wall. Daniel turned. Another steel door stood there, much smaller than the blast doors above, only one keyhole. Above it, fresh lettering, not faded, not old, brand new. Phase 3. The brass key inside Daniel's pocket became warm, not cold, warm, as though it belonged there. His hand moved almost automatically. The key fit perfectly before he could turn it. Every person inside the room spoke at the exact same time, not loudly, almost whispering, "Don't." The single word echoed endlessly. Daniel froze. Then, the monitors above the filing cabinet suddenly activated. Every screen displayed the same image: his apartment. Empty. The front door slowly opened by itself. Someone entered. The camera couldn't show the face, only dark clothing. The stranger walked directly toward Daniel's desk, opened the locked drawer, removed the black notebook, closed the drawer, then looked directly into the camera. For one brief second, Daniel recognized the face. It was himself. Older. Much older. The screen instantly went black. The lights shut off. Darkness returned. Only one emergency light remained, glowing above the exit. Daniel ran. He didn't look back. He climbed every staircase as fast as he could. Level 3, Level 2, Level 1. Finally, the massive steel entrance opened. Cold mountain air hit his face. The bunker stood silent behind him, almost invisible beneath the forest when Daniel reached his car. He looked at the brass key still resting in his hand. Something had changed. The engraving no longer read, "Property of Ashcroft Estate now." It read only one word: "Observer."